Both of them.
I know you're just saying.
Okay, and you know what I was gonna say, if you have a granddaughter, how nice to be able to share that with her. Anything is possible. All right, let's move into the state quarters. I love his giggle, because he's like, we've sold more of the state quarters than any other coin, right, Mike?
I've sold more state quarters than anybody but the United States.
We don't say that to brag. We say that because we want you to understand the importance of collecting these and having them in your coin collection, in your vault, to be able to pass down to the next generation. This is a complete set of the state quarters. You're also getting the 6 territorials. When I say 56, I've had people tell me, you know, there aren't 56 states.
But there are 50 states and 6 territories.
There you go, Mike, there you go. Okay, and you're getting all of the original government packaging at $149.95. It's on price break. It's not $10 off, not $20 off, it's $50 off. So this is a great opportunity to pick these up with all of the original government packaging.
In 1999, the United States government releases the most popularly collected United States coin program in its history. The United States State Quarter Program. They decided to honor every single state in the Union on the back of the venerable Washington quarter in the exact order of statehood. So it's not only a cool thing, but a history lesson as well. Each state got to pick what they put on their quarter. So each state decided what was most important to them. And so people responded to that in a huge, huge way. What we have here are the S-minted coins. These are the proof coins. These are the presentation coins. None of these coins were ever released into circulation. I don't mean these specific coins, I mean the proof coins. Not a single S-minted coin was ever released into circulation. They were only available in these special presentations.
So in these lenses?
In these lenses. The United States, when the coins you got in your, in your change were mint state coins. They were changed literally. These coins that you see right here were presentation coins that only came in here, were only released by the United States Mint. So the United States Mint started releasing these in 1999. It went through 2008 with the last of the quarters and then added the 6 territories down here. There's some substantial things down here. If you look on here, on a regular United States coin, this is the first African-American that ever appears on a United States coin. That's, as you can see right there. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Check that out. So you've got that. You've got American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Northern Marianas, Puerto Rico, all of those that are, that's Duke Ellington, by the way, if you wanted to know, yes. That you've got on there. All of those are included. Now, here's the reason that we always sell so many. The original United States government issue price was $20 per set with their shipping and handling. We're going to give you 11 sets, because there's the 10s.
Yep.
$220. $220 is what they charged. We're $149.95, your original.
So you're beating the original price.
And it's not like they're lesser. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the nationally advertised catalog. And if you look at this right here, if you purchase these separately, $6.95 a coin. There's 6 coins there. That's $42. If you go over here to the 2008, the last year, right here is the Hawaii. $25, $18.50, $18.50, $18.50, and $18.50. That's a little over $100 bucks. Okay, right at 100. So you're basically $150 for the bottom 2 lenses. We're going to insist that you take all the rest of them, okay? Up here, these coins that are $5.50 a piece.
You're so funny. We're going to insist you take the rest.
You take them all. We insist you take them all. You can't just have those for $149. And so these are $5.50 a coin. $5.50, so that's $25. That's $25. That's $20. $25. $25. $25. Actually, the 2002s are $40. So what you look at this, instead of $149.95, is if purchased separately, you're looking at a tab that is significantly higher than that, that is significantly more important than that, because that's how most of them are sold. So in other words, you get to buy like a coin dealer. The reason that these are difficult for me to put together is because the United States government, once they issued them, people would buy these. Literally, the only way to get S-minted coins is out of here. You have to break these up with a hammer and break them open and take the coins out and sell them individually. That's why coin by coin by coin, I think I have the thing here. It's got to be, well, it's got to be $300, okay? That's $150, $250. Oh, it's well over $300 that you're going to have on coin by coin. You're at a price break, $149.95, all with the original government boxes. Those are just as important as the coins themselves.
I always remember you saying that because Mike said if you're going to get the entire state quarter set, you want to get them with the original government packaging, and you're getting their certificates as well. 145419 is your item number there. $50 off, and it's on 4 flexible payments of $37.49. So we